shouts of shame outside New York's most powerful residence, a newly elected mayor under fire, and the Epstein files detonating fresh political fallout. New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani has been heckled outside Gracie Mansion after newly released Justice Department records linked his mother's name to a 2009 social event connected to Ghislaine Maxwell. The confrontation comes just weeks into Mamdani's historic term, as the Epstein Files Transparency Act unleashes millions of pages of previously sealed material. Crowds gathered outside Gracie Mansion as videos spread online showing angry New Yorkers confronting the seat of mayoral power. Through a megaphone, protesters hurled chants of shame, calling out Mayor Mamdani by name beneath the windows of his official residence. Several demonstrators said they were once his supporters, voters and advocates who now say they feel betrayed by the city's new leader. In the footage, protesters accused Mamdani of deceiving the public and demanded accountability, their anger fueled by newly released Epstein-related documents. The documents reference Mamdani's mother, acclaimed filmmaker Mira, turning a personal connection into a flashpoint in a rapidly escalating political storm. The attention centers on an email dated October 21, 2009. The message, sent by American publicist Peggy Siegel, describes an after-party held at the Manhattan townhouse of Ghislaine Maxwell. The email lists several high-profile attendees, including Bill Clinton, Jeff Bezos, and filmmaker Mira. The email appears to reference an after-party linked to a film screening. While the film is not explicitly named, the timing and cast details suggest it may relate to Nair's 2009 film Amelia, starring Hilary Swank and Richard Gere. There is no allegation of wrongdoing against Nair contained in the email. The documents were released on Friday by the U.S. Department of Justice under the Epstein Files Transparency Act. The law was signed by President Donald Trump in November 2025. The release includes more than 3 million additional pages, over 2,000 videos, and around 180,000 images. The new material draws from multiple investigations. These include federal cases in Florida and New York involving Jeffrey Epstein, the criminal case against Ghislaine Maxwell, inquiries into Epstein's death, and several FBI investigations.
The categories of documents withheld include those permitted under the Act to be withheld: files that contain personally identifiable information of victims or victims' personal and medical files, and similar files, the disclosure of which would constitute a clearly unwarranted invasion of personal privacy. Any depiction of CSAM or child pornography was obviously excluded. Anything that would jeopardize an active federal investigation. And finally, anything that depicts or contain images of death, physical abuse, or injury, also not produced. Although the Act allows for withholding for items necessary to keep secret in the interest of national security or foreign policy, no files are being withheld or redacted on that basis. To protect victims, we redacted every woman depicted in any image or video, with the exception of Ms. Maxwell. We did not redact images of any men, unless it was impossible to redact the woman without also redacting the man. To this end, though, and to ensure transparency, if any member of Congress wishes to review any portions of the responsive production in any unredacted form, they're welcome to make arrangements with the department to do so, and we're happy to do that. I take umbrage at the suggestion, which is totally false, that the Attorney General or this department does not take child exploitation or sex trafficking seriously, or that we somehow do not want to protect victims. We do. There are some select members of Congress and some in the public eye, including those most critical of our efforts at full transparency under the Act, who remain silent as to all the work that we have done and continue to do every day in this space. With the production of this magnitude, mistakes are inevitable. We, of course, want to immediately correct any redaction errors that our team may have made, And so the department has established an email inbox for victims to reach us directly to correct redactions and any concerns when appropriate. That's been in existence since December, and we've been doing that since then. Today's release marks the end of a very comprehensive document identification and review process to ensure transparency to the American people and compliance with the Act. The department has engaged in an unprecedented and extensive effort to do so.
Making his first public comments since the release, Donald Trump described the documents as vindicating his actions. Speaking to reporters aboard Air Force One on Saturday night, Trump said he had not personally reviewed the material, but had been told by what he called very important people that the records not only absolved him, but ran counter to expectations on the left.
What did you think of the latest release of Epstein files, and do you think your critics will be satisfied with?
Well, they should be, because it looked like this guy Wolf, who's a writer, was conspiring with Epstein to do harm to me. And I didn't see it myself, but I was told by some very important people that not only does it absolve me, it's the opposite of what people were hoping, the radical left. That Wolf was a third-rate writer, was conspiring with Jeffrey Epstein to hurt me, politically or otherwise, and that came through loud and clear. So we'll probably sue Wolf on that.
Sir, did you speak, or did you have any knowledge?
And maybe the Epstein estate, I guess. I don't know, but we're going to certainly sue Wolf.
You want to sue the Epstein estate?
Well, you may, I guess so, because he was conspiring with Wolf to do harm to me politically. That's not a friend.
Mayor Mamdani has not commented publicly on the protests or the documents. He assumed office on January 1st after defeating former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo and Republican Curtis Sliwa. At 34, Mamdani became New York City's youngest mayor and its first Muslim mayor. As more records surface, the fallout is now reaching beyond those directly named, touching families, institutions, and newly elected leaders. The Justice Department said it released 3 million pages of documents in the latest Epstein disclosure, along with 2,000 videos and 180,000 images. The documents were disclosed Friday under a law intended to reveal what the government knew about the millionaire financier's sexual abuse of young girls and his interactions with the rich and powerful.
The Justice Department on Friday said it's releasing more than 3 million pages of documents, videos, and photos from its files on Jeffrey Epstein. This release comes more than a month after the initial disclosure of files on the late sex offender and his longtime confidant, Ghislaine Maxwell. Among the things we're seeing as we comb through these records are files from court proceedings and investigations into Epstein and Maxwell, correspondence that he had with friends and associates, and we're seeing photographs and videos in which some faces are blacked out, redacted.
To protect victims, we redacted every woman depicted in any image or video, with the exception of Ms. Maxwell.